And welcome back, Fire Addicts, to another episode of Travis Does Firewood. Today we're going to find out if this jack will help us buck some logs. Dig it. So in the recent podcast that I had this past Sunday, Season 2, Episode 1, my new friend John was talking about using high jack, farm jack, whatever name you want to call this, in use of when you are wanting to buck some logs. And I found that interesting, so I wanted to try it. But in the recent episode that I had this past Monday, which I'm sure you all saw as well, I used this jack to increase the height of my firewood stand. So I did that, and it worked out good. But in the episode, a lot of folks commented about how dangerous these jacks are. And I admit, I was naive. I did not think about that. I was cautious. I was trying to be safe. But definitely be careful when you're using these. A lot of people mentioned that they could give you a free dental, a teeth puller outer in a heartbeat, as well as to not have you have any more kids, perhaps. So if you're going to use one of these things for any reason, just be safe. So we're going to be as safe as possible this episode. And down the line. Anyway, I digress. In the discussion I had with John this past Sunday on the podcast, he was talking about when he has rounds or logs on the ground, and him being afraid and concerned that he's going to get his tip of his bar in the dirt, in the gravel, which is a fair concern. A lot of us don't cut and buck every day, and may not know our saw well enough to know where the tip is if we're bucking. Fair, that's totally fair. And I, for one, especially with my 372 XP, my clone saw with the long 28 inch bar, I'm not used to it yet, and I have not run it enough to be good about standing up and bucking and knowing where the tip is, right? These are pretty big rounds. I could probably get through this with my 20-inch bar. The one on top of here was bigger. So these are, I guess I don't really need my 20-inch bar. I can bring out my 460 or my Pinkway. I may do that today. But the issue is, these are on the ground. These are on gravel. Right now they're on a tarp, but I don't want to cut up my tarp. Right? I mean, this tarp is like paper thin, right? And then below that is gravel. And I have hit my 20-inch bar a few times in the gravel while in my driveway. These logs have been in my driveway for more than a month now, and I need to get them out. But I wanted to do an episode to see if we could use this jack to lift up this log enough, slide some 2x4s under it, drop it, and then use that height to buck the log and have the chain not hit the ground. That's the goal. But the secondary goal is, in doing that, making sure that we are safe using this jack. So my question right now, as I'm thinking through this, is, as of right now, this jack is at the lowest point that it is, right? Lowest point. Now, as of right now, this jack cannot go under that log. If you can see that okay. I don't know. But that. You see that okay? It won't fit under. It's just not possible. So what I'm thinking about doing is I need to... So my first thought, so yeah, I'm talking a lot right now, but I'll get into action in a moment. What I thought about doing is taking the chainsaw, putting it sideways, and doing a plunge cut, like right here, which would be the same height as this lip of the jack right here. So that little nudge right there, little nip, would go in to where the punch cut is, and that would be my holding point for the jack. Seems kind of shady. The log won't be up in the air for very long. It'll come back down. But then I'm thinking, well, that's one extra step that I don't really want to do. So I have another idea. Taking a wedge, metal wedge, having to take a hammer, hammer it in, and then have the pump come at an angle this way, come sideways, like this, under it, and then jack it up from there. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I can either take the wedge out by hitting it with the hammer a few times, and not a problem. And I think by coming in from this way and not this way, that there's enough leverage of the wedge to not want to bounce out. So, and if it does come out, it will only just like go clink, because this log won't be high above the air, very high and very long. So if it comes out, it's going to go clink and not go pew. So that's my course of action. So first things first, let's see if we can drive this in enough and figure out if we can make sure that we can safely get the jack under it and start jacking up. So without further ado, let's try it. Alright, so that kind of worked, but being a log, it wants to roll. So, I mean, I'm up off the ground, and it's up off the ground. I mean, I'm on a tarp, but I mean, it pivoted a little bit. So at least I can, I can do a few bucks. So at least it's something. But this log here has like it's hollow, or when it came down, I think the holding wood here gave me a spot, so maybe I can use this spot to get into. So should we try it again, but now with the wedge? Should we? Let's do it. What's that gonna fit? Let's go here. So, not ideal. You didn't see me, but trying to be safe, wanting to be away from the handle, going up and down, so there's no way it would smack me in case something happens, smack me in the face or the crotch. Yeah, still new to the device. I know it's simple, but it's just new to me, so I need to still work on knowing the ins and outs. Anyway, that went fairly well. In here there's not enough of a split to get that little nip in there, but right in here was fine, and that seemed to work. Just high enough to get a few split pieces of firewood under. So now we have a gap. I don't know if you can see that or not, but we do have a gap. We are up off the ground, at least for several feet. So I think that this definitely gonna help to minimize digging your bar in the dirt. Now, so the next part would be bucking, right? So when we start bucking, we're not gonna want to start bucking right here, because if we cut right here, then the log is back on the ground, and I have to do that work over again. So I'm gonna eyeball it down here. Where is it stop hitting the ground? Now I have tarp down here. This doesn't really help me, but like right in here, so about like 4 to 5 feet from the 2x4 is still enough room where there's space underneath the log, which is what I want. So I can start cutting here and work my way to the 2x4. Right, so that's my plan. Let's get all cleared up, cleaned up, geared up, lubed up, and fueled up, and let's make a few cuts. All right, so clean up the area a little bit, got the chunks off, and I want to check down here to confirm how much clearance we have. So I think we got a good about 3 inches here, and then down the way, obviously it's gonna get nearer. But if we pull some of this out, there's a good little gap here. So I put my hand under right here-ish. So I may go to like right here. So I'm gonna use the saw, and I think this makes, yes, this is gonna be a little bit time consuming. Only able to cut 3 to 4 rounds. And then, you know what? That's what we could do. Not only lift one end, that's what you could do. That's what you could do. Okay, I'm thinking through this with you all. Okay, maybe some of you have come to this conclusion earlier. Lift both ends. Lift both ends. Put both ends on blocks, on 2x4s, whatever, just as long as it doesn't roll over, which is totally doable to put it on both ends. So lift that end, lift the end over there, so then the whole thing is up. So you don't have to worry about having to only buck a certain amount and then you're doing it again. So in the future, I think that work out. Right now, I'm just gonna buck a few, and then we're gonna call it good. I'm gonna put your camera on the ground. You've seen me buck before, and nothing special. So I'm gonna put you on the ground, close to the ground, to see if you can see my tip not hit the tarp and not hit the ground. So before we get to it, I haven't run the saw for a while. I don't think, I forget, but we're gonna bring out the Pinkway 63 ACG, which is, in terms of its stats, 63 cc's. If you haven't seen this saw before, I nicknamed it the Purple Monster, and this bad boy is the first Pinkway that has been ported, at least on YouTube. So you hear the scream right now. So I'm gonna get on my PPE, and we're gonna make some cuts, and then we'll see if this idea of lifting up the log is worth it. if I'm going to be talking about it, I might as well just hold it, right? So the whole purpose of this demonstration was to see if it was worthwhile using this high lift, high jack, farm jack, whatever you want to call it, to lift up at least one end of the log, to have there be clearance, have there be air beneath the log, so then you would not, by mistake, go through the log and into the dirt, into the gravel. And I failed the experiment because it was user error. It was user error. I'm sure other people, like my buddy John, have done this enough, or will try it and succeed. Get yourself a longer enough bar that you can still stand up and buck. I think it's best practice at the very end of it is when you're just about to go through the log. It's just gonna boom, 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 and not go full bore, just a little bit until it gives, until the round gives and falls down. Now, while I was doing this too, because it was up on the ground, the rounds were pinching, so I had to stop and use some wedges and get it unpitched as I'm doing it, which was a bummer. I guess that would be the downfall of having it be off the ground, at least one end. I think next time I'm going to do both ends. So I still think this is a good idea. I just need to do it more, and not necessarily perfect it, but be better at it, do better at it, and be better at the cutting. So I think the theory still stands that it's good to have the log up the ground. How do you do that? This jack can help you. So yeah, I just got a few rounds. Just wanted to show, see if this works. But let me know your thoughts. Is this jack too dangerous? Is it needed? You cut every day, so you're a pro, so you know where your tip is. You don't hit dirt, you don't hit gravel. Or are you a weekend warrior and you tend to hit dirt, hit gravel, and this may help you? A bottle jack won't help. Your floor jack won't get under, but this type of jack will. Does this create any ideas in your head? Any solution? Do you have any feedback for me besides, Travis, you can't cut with beans? But yeah, let me know. I'm curious. So just while the weather's changing right now, it was sunny, then the weather falls here, folks, and I hope that you are all prepared wood-wise. Do I have enough wood myself? I'm not sure. But anyway, I digress. Let me know your thoughts on this jack and using it when you're bucking logs. I will still probably do it again in safer conditions, and then I'm not in a rush, and the saw is definitely sharper. So anyway, I appreciate you tuning in. Until next time, life's too short to be a prick, so stay kind to one another. Rock and roll, keep safe, keep cutting. Cheers.